The Great Plains Synfuels Plant, an international research and development facility, a technological success, an example of clean coal technology. Great Plains is all of these, and perhaps more importantly, a milestone in the path to America's energy future. Owned and operated by Dakota Gasification Company, Great Plains is distinct. It remains the nation's only commercial-scale plant, producing high BTU natural gas from coal, sending its product through pipelines to fuel America's homes and its economy. Now this unique plant is writing a significant new chapter in its history. Great Plains has been producing energy for America, nearly non-stop for 20 years. In mid-2004, it took a breather. But first, it's important to understand the story behind Great Plains. This is about an energy facility using abundant coal reserves as a solution to help America shed its dependence on foreign oil. It's a story about rural electric cooperative leaders in America's heartland taking action to keep a controversial project alive, a plant viewed by some as a government boondoggle. Great Plains serves as a testament to the perseverance of rural electric cooperatives, the support of political leaders, and to the ingenuity of thousands of workers. In the 1970s, the concept of Great Plains was carried in the minds and briefcases of energy interests from Detroit. The U.S. had been suffering from a series of energy price hikes and oil embargoes, courtesy of a Middle Eastern oil cartel. The vision of the Detroit natural gas companies was to gasify North Dakota lignite, but that raised suspicions. Some North Dakotans worried about the environmental effects of strip mining. Some charged that this was a one-time harvest. There were questions about using too much water, and some had fears about the prospect of dozens of energy plants spread across western North Dakota. These gasification plans ran into opposition and delays. As months passed, the price tag of the gasification project grew, and in the end, just half of a plant was built. In 1984, Great Plains was finished, ahead of schedule and under budget. On July 28th of that year, the first natural gas manufactured from the lignite beneath the Midwestern prairie began to flow into a nearby pipeline. Soon, the first of the anticipated byproducts of the gasification process, anhydrous ammonia, was delivered. A vision had become a reality, but the news quickly turned bad. The energy market fell, and instead of $1 billion profit, the original owners now faced a $1 billion deficit over the next decade. Failing to get federal price guarantees, they defaulted on their loan and bailed out of the project. The federal government foreclosed on Great Plains, and the plant was sold at a sheriff's auction on the steps of the Mercer County Courthouse. The winning bid of $1 billion came from the U.S. Department of Energy. Leaders at Basin Electric Power Cooperative determined they couldn't afford to see the gasification plant fail. Basin was selling 90 megawatts of electricity to Great Plains from its new power plant, the Antelope Valley Station. These adjacent plants shared rail and water treatment facilities. The price for lignite from the nearby Freedom Mine certainly would rise if Great Plains closed. Closing the gasification project would cost Basin and its members $37 million annually. That would mean a rate increase that the cooperative family couldn't afford. So the cooperative's leadership analyzed the idea of owning Great Plains. They looked at the project's positive cash flow based on gas purchase contracts. They figured in future cost reductions, increased byproduct revenues, and boosting production of the synthetic natural gas from Great Plains. The ownership idea was taken to Basin's membership, who decided in 1987 to join in the bidding process. The offer included a profit-sharing agreement, forfeiting production tax credits, and a payment of $85 million. In the end, the Energy Department awarded the bid for Great Plains to Basin. And at a special meeting in August 1988, Basin's members voted to purchase the plant. In what was the largest real estate transaction in North Dakota, the plant changed hands on November 1st, 1988. Officially, the facility's name was changed to the Great Plains Synfuels Plant, and its owner was a newly created subsidiary of Basin Electric, Dakota Gasification Company. The Synfuels plant and its employees responded remarkably to new ownership, but Quickly, the new owners, like those in the beginning, faced huge challenges, major tests of their commitment. One was the volatility of a natural gas market. Dakota Gasification kept searching for ways to stabilize the plant's operation.
It was a very trying time. Gas prices were down and there were also other problems. It seemed like it was close to closing, but I was never in favor of that. Basin remained committed to that facility.
Environmentally, the process was long and complicated as well. But Dakota Gasification finally worked out an innovative solution. The company built a facility to scrub sulfur emissions, gaining a valuable fertilizer as the end product. Coupled with a recent upgrade of environmental controls, the Synfuels plant was able to reach environmental compliance. Emission results in 2003 bear that out.
Correcting environmental deficiencies has not been easy, and it hasn't been cheap. So it's very heartening to reach this milestone. We should all be proud of the investment that rural America has made in this plant.
The plant's stability remained an issue. Diversification was seen as part of the solution, adding revenue from byproducts and other sources while reducing costs and producing more gas. Phenol, krypton xenon, and a larger anhydrous ammonia plant were added. The project that gave a major stabilizing boost came with an agreement in 1999. Working with a major oil company in Canada, Dakota Gasification decided to build a pipeline to carry carbon dioxide from the plant to be used for enhanced oil recovery in Canada. After more than 3 years, the $100 million project has returned more than $61 million in revenue to Dakota Gasification. But this project has an even larger impact. Environmental benefits in the form of sequestering carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is trapped in oil fields instead of being vented into the atmosphere. Dakota Gasification, in partnership with the U.S. and Canadian Energy Departments, is responsible for initiating the largest CO2 sequestration project in North America.
Great Plains continues to demonstrate its role as a national R&D facility, but has also become extremely important on an international level. Now the plant is a major world player in sequestering carbon dioxide.
Dakota Gasification has overcome daunting challenges. As a result, Great Plains keeps adding to its record of success. Each day it converts 18,000 tons of lignite into 160 million standard cubic feet of synthetic natural gas. Enough gas to heat nearly 500,000 homes each year. Over 20 years, that production adds up to more than 1 trillion standard cubic feet of natural gas. That can provide enough fuel for 187 million homes for one day. Each year, Great Plains produces enough fuel for all the homes in North Dakota 4 times over. Great Plains also has been making and selling byproducts. Dakota Gasification has invested nearly $500 million in byproducts and environmental controls. In return, the company has realized nearly $680 million in revenue from byproducts over the years. The biggest revenue producers: carbon dioxide for enhanced oil recovery, anhydrous ammonia and ammonium sulfate fertilizers, phenols for the plywood industry, crucilic acids for wire coatings and antioxidants, rare krypton xenon gases for lighting, and naphtha for gasoline blending and solvents. And what about the original investment by U.S. taxpayers? The investment is being repaid. Basin Electric wrote a check up front for $85 million to the U.S. Treasury and agreed to give up $750 million in production tax credits. As of 2003, the cooperative has paid $103 million to the U.S. Treasury based on a profit-sharing agreement. In all, a substantial return to taxpayers. With natural gas prices up, the plant's financial outlook is on the upswing. Optimism about the future for Great Plains and Dakota Gasification is high.
Over the past 3 to 5 years, natural gas has become the hydrocarbon fuel of choice in North America. Because of that, natural gas prices are very, very high. We have a great abundance of coal in this country. This plant turns coal into natural gas. We want to be able to take advantage of these very high prices and have the plant available to make natural gas such that it can be a major asset for our membership in the future.
Great Plains has been doing that for 20 years. And Basin's CEO and General Manager Ron Harper says the cooperative remains committed to the plant's future long-term operation.
Over the past few years, we spent a lot of time, effort, and money to enhance not only the reliability and safety conditions at the plant, but also its economic future. It is meeting the nation's agenda on clean coal technology. It gasifies coal and produces a clean burning fuel. It is a good example of one of the investments in technology that America should continue making.
In mid-2004, after 2 decades of near continuous operation, Great Plains took a breather. The gasification process was stopped. A planned outage called a black plant, the equivalent of an annual checkup with the doctor. This allowed the operators and others to take a close look at this industrial complex of pipes and vessels. Many marvel at the fact that the plant went 2 decades without a major planned shutdown.
Constant operation for 20 years. That's unheard of for a plant like this. That's a credit to employees. They found innovative ways to keep running.
The plant has already provided answers simply by its continuous operation.
So, what if a new Great Plains plant were to be built today? What would we do differently? For one, we'd select a different type of gasifier. The ones we have run too cold, which means added cost for construction and also for operation. There are new designs out there today that can be built cheaper and will run cheaper.
The black plant allowed Dakota Gasification and the Department of Energy to more closely inspect what needed to be changed and what might be learned for the future.
We hired a major engineering consultant last year to do an evaluation of the prospects for running our plant into the future. What they told us is the plant is in generally good shape. They told us we could expect to see 20, 40, or even 60 more years life. Barring any major surprises that might come out of a black plant inspection, well, we did that black plant inspection and things look good. We made some major repairs, and I suggest to you that the findings can be upgraded. What you'll actually want to do is expect to run that plant for a long, long time into the future.
Great Plains has given America a long-term view of this type of clean coal technology and possible applications for the future. Instability in the Middle East and elsewhere magnifies America's dependence on foreign oil. The Great Plains Synfuels plant can be a link to energy independence. Great Plains could be the blueprint for a new generation of energy plants in the 21st century.
We're fortunate to be able to use the knowledge and expertise that were developed over 20 years of operation. What we've learned at Great Plains provides a roadmap for similar plants in the future. This kind of experience simply doesn't exist anywhere else.
It does exist at Great Plains, and a new generation of energy plants may emerge from the technologies proven over 20 years by the Great Plains Synfuels plant. It's a contribution, a milestone, a technical marvel that rural America can be proud of.